Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Nikki Gilbert Daniels, and welcome to the first episode of She Speaks Live. Yes! Backing me up on the ones and twos is DJ Fally Fowl. Hey! She Speaks Live was created as a platform and a safe space for women to talk about issues that impact our lives every single day. You don't have to look too far to see that there are plenty of man caves on TV giving you the male perspective on things, but you'd be hard-pressed to find our perspectives on our issues. That's why I decided it's time to have a little something for the ladies. Is that all right with y'all? Okay, and the brothers who are smart enough to listen. So move over, man cave, because it's time to make room for the She Speaks Live Speakeasy, a place where every woman's voice matters and where when she speaks, everybody listens. We'll tackle everything from mind, body, and spirit wellness to personal relationships, politics, and we're women, so of course we got to throw in a little juicy gossip here and there. She Speaks Live was created to not only entertain you, but to uplift, empower, and motivate you to drop all that baggage you've been carrying and live your very best life. You feel me? Tonight we have an incredible show for you. Our topic for the evening, Choosing Mr. Wrong, a discussion on domestic violence. And I am so honored to have with us tonight CHRISTY SIMS, who is a domestic violence advocate and acid attack survivor. Y'all give it up, yeah? It's all right. And from a little TV series that I created, my girl, my sister, my friend, she sings her face off. She's beautiful. She's a super mom. Give it up for KEKE WYATT. And if we're lucky, she's gonna give us a little something with that throat of hers. When I say that girl sings from the roof to the floor, she sings from the roof to the floor. But before we get into KEKE WYATT, this is a little moment that I like to call the She Speaks Live Spotlight. And tonight in our She Speaks Live Spotlight, we have a brother who sings his face off, who happens to be KEKE WYATT's brother. So you thought KEKE was only singing the family? Not so much.
I am KEKE WYATT's brother.
And I'm also KEKE's white brother now, thanks to Barack Obama.
He did that.
Yes, we can.
We've been thinking about adopting, but I think that we have a different plan in mind.
What if we could keep it in the blood and have you be a surrogate for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge She Speaks Live welcome to Mr. KEKE WYATT.
What's up? How y'all feeling tonight? Now y'all gonna stick with me, right?
Yeah!
All right, I need y'all to be live with me. This song here is called Make Love, and it is on my EP entitled With Love by KEKE WYATT. I hope you enjoy it. It's for the grown and sexy. It goes like this. Kissing, touching, loving, just me and you.
You can find KEKE's music on all platforms at KEKE WYATT. Thank you for blessing us with a moment, and we're going to talk to your sister in a minute.
Awesome.
But before we get to KEKE WYATT, I'm moving on over to the Hot Topics table with my Hot Topics co-host, Shanita Foster, Christine Beatty, Stacey J. Johnson. DJ Fally Fowl, take us out, boo. Hey, drinks are served. What's up, ladies? So welcome back to She Speaks Live. I'm your host, Nikki Gilbert Daniels. And before we bring out our VIP speakers, I have to introduce my beautiful, fly, smart, and very opinionated co-host who are here to help keep us up to date on the latest in politics, culture, and community. She hosts the Perspectives show on 9:10 a.m. and she is the former chief of staff for the city of Detroit. Please welcome my Detroit versus everybody sister, Miss Christine Beatty. And while we're talking about Detroit, she is a TV personality, serial entrepreneur, and the author of Girl, I'm Not Trippin', I'm Depressed. Did I mention she was a doctor and an ambassador? Let's give it up for my Detroit sister, Miss Shanita Foster. And of course, no panel nowhere, any place on the earth would be complete without relationships expert, best-selling author of Date Girl, 143 Reasons. Damn, that's a lot.
It used to
Why
be
women should
178.
date. It used to be 170. Okay,
Yes.
Date Girl, 143 Reasons Why Women Should Date Multiple Men. Give it up for Stacey J. Johnson. Now, ladies, before we start arguing, debating intelligently, I want
that's
to do
the
a
problem with
toast
the people.
and invite the people into our little world. So,
Yes.
welcome to what?
She Speaks
Live! Woo! Cheers.
Y'all better look at my eyes.
That's right. Look in the eye. Look, oh, I didn't.
And we would like to say thank you to Stella Rosa for sponsoring the drinks for this evening.
Thanks, Stella.
And we would like to say thank you to someone we're not going to mention because we don't have any liquor sponsorship at this point. But if you'd like to sponsor the show, then please reach out to AIB TV. Matt Abels will take your call. Okay, so ladies, before we get into our banter and our gossip, I just want to do some honorable mention. This weekend, did y'all hear about the Curl Fest?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
Yes,
About the Curl
yes.
Fest? Okay, so recently in Atlanta, they did Curl Fest. That is the Curly Collective. Christine, you'll really appreciate it.
Yes,
and of course,
rocking the curls.
I'm wearing my natural hair too, so I can appreciate it.
Girl, I'm wearing my natural hair too. Everybody.
Under the wig.
Underneath, right. We're all natural
It's natural
somewhere
under the
underneath.
wig, yeah.
Okay, another thing, ladies, I have to ask your opinion on this because y'all are what I like to call my smart friends, right?
All right. Okay, smart friends.
So any of your friends not here,
I
they're
was
your
about to
dumb
say,
friends?
I was gonna say that sounded really bad.
I'm
I don't
just
have any
saying.
dumb
Don't
friends. Well, I
start.
might have a few dumb used to be friends, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Ooh.
God don't like ugly. I take it back, kind of. But so Shanita, we were talking earlier before we started recording, and we were talking about the Kanye West. What is it called? Sunday service.
Sunday service.
Oh,
Sunday
Kanye West
service.
Sunday soap.
What do you think about that?
I think that when you put Pastor Jamal Bryant and Kanye West in the same room, you're going to save a lot of sinners. No, I'm joking. No, it's facts.
I
I'm
mean,
just
but that's
speaking
what church is
facts.
supposed
That's
to
what church is
do.
supposed to be. I think they're just putting too much emphasis on him coming into the church and not more so on what it's supposed to do, which is to save lives, bring people closer to God. I personally don't have a problem with it. I just believe that most people try to make the pastor God. They forget that the pastor is man and that they make mistakes. And so no one is perfect. So I don't know what the uproar is, but I think they was more mad that Jamal asked for a second offering.
A second offering.
Well, no. But here's what people, and I kind
Leave
of
my Morehouse brother alone, y'all.
Look, no, I listened to kind of the feedback about it. It was more about, and this is where anybody that can bring folks to God, I'm all
Yes,
for it, right?
yes.
Absolutely. You know, I have no issues with that. The problem is, and this is what a lot of churches now are talking about, which is preaching this prosperity gospel, meaning if you do all the right things, then you can be wealthy like me. If you're not
aren't they wealthy because
but
they-
wait. No, then the thing is, clearly, if I'm not doing, if I've not attained that same prosperity all these other people, then I must not be doing something right. That's what the prosperity gospel is about.
Right.
That's how, hey, if you give, you do this, you all that. Everybody, it's not going to apply to everybody.
Right.
Everybody's life is not going to end up a millionaire. It's just not going to happen.
I don't think, but Jamal doesn't preach that though. You
I
know
didn't
that,
say
right?
he
Jamal
did.
doesn't have a
That's what I
jet.
was
I didn't say
Right.
he
Because
did.
one of them got a jet or
no,
two, right?
everybody,
Wrong
they do
pastor.
preach the prosperity gospel, but and not just them. All churches mostly do it. What I'm
I
saying
disagree.
is, yes, they do. That's what the
Girl, I've
whole.
been on a whole church tour.
Okay, but regardless, I've been to a whole church. So my point
not
is,
a church.
but my
You
point
been
is,
to a whole church,
No,
not just
I've been to
one.
multiple churches.
Are
Don't
there
even-
half
come on now.
churches?
But my point is, it's not just that church. That was the uproar. Because they weren't the only two people there. There were other people who came in and spoke. So that was the uproar. Oh, if
You
you're
know-
not
you know she's not gonna let us talk,
prosperous,
right?
if you're not prosperous, then you're not living right.
That
which
was
is
not
BS.
the word that day.
Well, what was the word?
It was that
Because
day.
you do
That
hear
was
that
not
often.
what he
You do
preached.
hear that
Hold on.
often.
I didn't say Jamal. I said the other person who they let speak, and I don't know the pastor's name, but I'll
Okay,
give it to
but
you.
let me break it down.
That's absolutely
They're
what they
upset
said.
that T.I. feels like when he walked in, which he walked in very late,
Okay.
typically at the end
Oh,
of
Tip
church.
went to church?
Tip went to church in a sweatshirt.
I mean, not like that.
Okay,
Tip.
so listen.
You know I love you.
girl,
This
you
is
better
my
not go
goddaughter.
after
I did
Tip.
not
Tip
mean that.
closes
You
huge
listen,
stuff.
I've been knowing Tip since Tip was
I don't
Tip.
care how long you've been knowing,
I'm
but you
just
did
saying.
do a little
I
shade,
didn't
honey.
mean it. I just
Okay,
said
so
Tip.
listen, the
I'm
man
just saying,
walked
you
into
better leave
church
Tip alone.
later in the service. Most people that go to church know that there's pretty much an offering at the top, and if you're gonna take a second one, it's on the backhand. They walked on the back end. They walked in on the back end. Now here's where I agree with one of my friends who I took to New Birth the next week. I'm confused that we have this take mentality or get something for free. I don't have a problem with Jamar asking for 1, 2, 3, 4 offerings. Let me explain to you why. That man went into a church that was already in debt. That church is in debt about $3.5 million, okay? Let's start there. Number 2, how they supposed to keep them lights on?
Allegedly,
it's about $1 million worth of lights.
Allegedly.
Listen, it's $1 million worth of lights in New Birth. They got a whole praise and worship
Trust
team.
and believe he got a salary, folks. So whatever
Okay,
they
but
was
the
broke
president have
about,
a salary.
he getting paid.
But any
That's what
job
I'm saying,
that
but
you
we're talking
do,
about
you
a
get
non-profit,
paid.
right? But I'm just saying. So don't say because they're so broke. They brought him in, so they have some money. The point is, though, I'm not knocking him or anything.
But you didn't even let me finish. The whole
I'm just
thing
saying, though.
is
Let's make
about
that point.
The offering.
He did get.
and-
He didn't just walk in off the street like
I would
I'm a
like
good
to make
soul.
a point.
What is your point, Stacey?
He getting paid.
Jamal is now dating his ex-wife,
I know, right?
who's on the show,
So
The
leave
Housewives
it
of
to Stacey
Potomac.
to bring it back to dating. So
Girl,
what do you think?
So
Okay,
That's
she
a whole
just went
PR
live.
stunt, child. Let me tell you something. They need 5,000 more
she says
people
the PR
in the church.
Right.
So they gonna get back together. He gonna get holy. They gonna have a whole New Birth wedding.
You know,
all
I
you
am just
celebrities
not
in
digging
Atlanta
all of
gonna
this
show
negativity
up.
going on this
It's
channel
not
right
what
now
you-
about
ladies,
church
okay, we
and pastors and
Ladies,
prosperity
ladies.
preaching. I think that anybody who wants to go to church, whatever's
Can go
going
to
to keep them
church.
there,
I'm with that.
it should, whatever the
said
message
first.
is, they
Whatever
walked in
brings you
somewhere
to
that I
church.
usually look
Pay
at
your
from my
tithes to where you
computer
being
screen.
fed
So
at. That's the word.
they walked into
Stop
church.
going to church for free, taking the word and not paying your tithes. And
but
if they
church is
ask-
supposed to be free, though, right?
Huh?
Isn't church supposed
You
to
supposed
be
to sow a
free?
seed, girl.
Everybody
How
doesn't
did
have
we
a seed to
just-
sow, but
what
yes, you
about
are.
the relationship
This
with
conversation about church and tithing could go
So you
on
get to
and
go
on
to
and
church
on.
I
for
was talking
free?
about love.
No, I don't think you
let's
should.
go
I
to
don't
the
think we
next
should
one.
go to church for free. But I do believe that there are a lot of people who go to church and pay their tithes before they're able to pay their water bill, and I don't like that.
But
And
Nikki,
I
that
just-
is
paying-
not
I'm
there.
paying
That's
my
not
tithes before I
anybody's
pay my
problem.
Okay, I
water
understand
First of
the
all,
church has. Okay,
let me say this.
Okay.
Let me say this. Why is it that we want one place to speak for everything? That church basically speaks to the people that go there. I think the more the conversation should probably be this. Wow, that church gets to see, as I started to say, but you guys cut me out, a family come back together as one.
Absolutely.
Jamal actually cheated on his wife, and now his wife is accepting him back for whatever
So
the
she's
reason.
she's gonna be a first lady.
She's
now.
going to be a first lady, and
Okay,
when
that's
you
good.
and they have
First lady.
children.
Shout out to the first lady
Exactly.
slash housewife.
Yes.
I mean,
Shout
not
out.
housewife, but real housewife of what?
Potomac.
And she's absolutely
And
drop
now
dead
their
gorgeous.
children
Yeah,
have
she's
children have the
awesome.
opportunity to grow up with their
Shout
father
out
in
to
the
Kanye
household.
West
Maybe.
for
We don't know
bringing
that, but right, we
spirituality
hope.
back to the mainstream.
Pay your tithes. I'm
Pay
still
your
on that.
tithes, and yeah. So, okay, while we're talking about Kanye West,
it already.
let's have a conversation about Candace, Owens, and the Revolt conference. Now, I didn't get a chance to see all of it, but what I understand is that Candace Owens was at the Revolt conference, and she said some things that Killer Mike and T.I. didn't necessarily agree with. Did you see it?
And then
Christine?
she
You
got
know what it is?
disrespected. They want
She
to
got
hold black women so high and respect our women, and then y'all hooped, hollered, yelled, screamed, and cussed that girl out. I wasn't with it. I feel like we keep saying that, you know, we should come together as people and everyone should have an opinion. And from what I've seen, you know, we debated about this a little bit off camera. From majority of what I've seen, I did see a clip where she got to get everything out, and I actually like what she said, and then they actually agreed with what she said. But majority of the time that this woman was trying to speak, people were screaming and yelling and cussing, and it wasn't positive to me. I think we're at a place now where everybody wants us to all agree just because
Yeah,
we're black.
I agree.
And I don't think that that's cool. I don't think that you want to close the voice of someone that doesn't agree with black people. If that girl don't agree, she should be allowed to disagree and in a respectful way.
And that leads me to my next question, which is for Christine Beatty.
Yes, ma'am.
How do we create safe spaces for people to have honest political dialogue despite their party affiliations?
Well, like Shanita just mentioned, people hollering and hooping, and I think we have to always remember this, because I'm like this. I can be aggressive in my conversation. You know, we laugh and joke about it.
But you know what you're talking about.
No, I'm just saying we laugh and joke about it on the panel. But yeah, you know, all of us are very forceful with our opinions when we feel like, okay, I want to get my point across. Here's the challenge though, and I think that's one side of the coin that people were hooping and hollering. The other side is people feel disrespected by what she says and what she talks about. So when you sit up and say, police brutality is really not an issue in this country.
That's ridiculous.
We need to look, you know, that's a disrespecting sentiment.
But
for
that doesn't
wait a
mean
minute,
she should
no,
be
no, no, I'll let
Gotta
you
let you
finish. I'll let you finish. And Killer Mike did not disrespect her. T.I. did not disrespect her. The audience, I can't speak about. The people who were on the panel did not disrespect her. Let's be clear about that. They did not. And when we talk about what, again, is being said, just because, and I say this all the time, I have a friend who I argue with, just because you're real soft with your words and you cut like a razor,
You better come
doesn't
on.
mean that you're not disrespectful.
You better come
So
on.
if I say to you,
Yeah.
you ain't S-H-I-T,
Right.
you are
You-
H-O-E. And I'm calm. I still have totally
I said it to you
disrespected
calmly.
But when I said you ain't,
Then
but
you're
now
angry.
I'm real disrespectful
Yeah.
because I've yelled. And again, I'm not taking away anything about people being disrespectful. I'm getting back to the question, which is how can we have a discourse and not be disrespectful? We have to first listen, which is what I just did. That's why I really want to hear your full point on this. We have to be able to
Actively.
listen and then not automatically form your answer while the person is talking. Because while you're talking, I'm sitting up here like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna
Waiting
make
for
sure
the
I make,
opportunity
let me
to
make
say
sure I
something.
make this
Right.
point when I say this.
Right.
So I'm not even listening to what you're
Right.
saying. I'm just saying, oh, when she finished, let me say this what I'm gonna say. So I haven't heard anything that Shanita said. I haven't heard what a Republican has said because I'm talking for the Democrats. So when I get my time in, I'm gonna talk my Democratic point. I don't really care what she's saying because I want my point to be out. So the first thing is we really do have to listen.
Active listening.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
the big thing. They
Yeah.
did an experiment. Just last point on this, a political experiment where they brought 500 people in the room because again we are so gridlocked in America.
Yeah.
It's either you Democrat or Republican.
ridiculous.
You pro-Trump or you
Yes.
anti-Trump. You
Right.
can't be in the middle.
Yeah.
You better pick a side. And especially
I'm
as
not
black,
picking a side.
no, I'm saying that's what the sentiment
Partisan
is. Like you
politics,
said,
it's so much
Yeah,
vitriol,
as
so
black
much
people,
hate, so much
everybody they want us
drama.
to
Yeah,
be very,
yeah.
I think
you one-sided. So,
I
Okay,
think,
well, we
I
gotta-
think at the end of the day, though,
Uh-huh.
Revolt knew why they were bringing
Absolutely.
Candace
To open up the
Owens
conversation.
to-
Of course.
And everybody to
and they
open
knew
up the
exactly what
conversation.
they were
I
getting.
felt like she
Next
was- I
question.
felt
We
like
gotta
she
get to.
was
We gotta get to.
disrespectful.
We gotta get to our next question real
True.
quick.
True.
Shanita, this one is for you. Atlanta's known for keeping up with the Joneses or the Housewives or whatever you want to call it, and you travel in those circles, ma'am. So my question for you is, at what point does trying to keep up with the Joneses become unhealthy? And have you had a moment
Great
in your
question.
life where you felt like it became unhealthy for you?
It's all the way unhealthy. I think we're creating a culture.
Yes.
A housewives, television, reality show culture where these people feel like this is the only way I could become successful. This is the only way that I can become seen. And so I think it's very unhealthy. You have people now that are getting on TV, I say for 2 quarters, but getting on for almost under minimum wage to sell their soul to feel like, you know,
Got to
I'm
leave
on
some money on the
television.
table, baby.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you
Yeah.
have to walk away and say,
Yeah.
this is not for me. I love the Housewives. It's a successful brand, but I think people fail to realize, and I know facts, Cynthia and Candy filmed their first season completely for free. They didn't get a single dollar to get on
We
television.
allegedly,
I know
we can't
factual.
put people in financial business in the
Listen,
street.
I said it.
I know this conversation, especially Housewives Atlanta, that whole thing could go on and on and on, but I cannot leave this conversation without giving Stacey the opportunity to tell us, speaking of the things that we do.
Get an opportunity
that-
to say something. Oh my God. All of these
Don't
Detroit
scrub that.
girls.
Don't take the time that I'm giving you to say something to talk
Jesus.
about the fact that you ain't said nothing. No. But Stacey, what are
Yes.
the top 2 things that a woman who is looking to establish a healthy relationship with a man can do?
Ooh, that's
Or I'm
easy.
sorry, what are the biggest mistakes we make?
Yeah, that's easy. I can say we got to leave the boss at home. We're so attracted to being bosses at work that we're bringing that boss to our homes. And that is where that's where the heads are bumping because men don't communicate healthy from a woman telling him what to do. There is a way, ladies, that you can get what you want, but you don't have to be bossing your man. I call it mommying. You know, do this, do that, and then you may have the cupcake. No, there's a way that you communicate with your man instead of telling him what to do. Number 2,
So
I
you saying
think.
about out? No, okay, number 2.
Say that
Giving up
again.
the
No, I'm just
cupcake,
joking.
good, bad, indifferent.
Number
but go
2.
ahead.
Wait.
I'm just saying.
It's okay.
Okay. Number 2, I would say we're not dating enough. That's my book. 143 reasons why I believe women should date multiple men. Ladies, the only way you're gonna learn how to date and learn what you like outside of the disappointment over here from the last bad relationship is to date. You cannot just meet a guy, go out 5 times, and he's your boyfriend. That's insane.
But
you cannot do
dating
that.
143 times seems
No,
like
that's
a
not
lot
what
of
I said. I
dates,
think you need to
especially in
listen,
Atlanta.
Wendy.
Okay.
Listen, Wendy. It's 143 reasons, not 143 dates.
Okay, 143 reasons.
Wendy,
Okay,
Oprah.
multiple men.
Get it
Okay,
together.
right. Okay,
And can I make a point from Stacey's book? And Stacey also says, even though you date, you don't have to give up the cupcake.
Oh yeah, you're
as
not
y'all said.
intimate
You're
with these
just
people.
tossing.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
not having sex with all these men. You're just dating.
Well, I got something they can do. Just shut up.
Okay,
Just stop talking
just
so
shut
much.
up.
Just shut
At the end of the
up.
day, speaking of shutting up, this conversation can go on forever. Ladies, please tell us where we can find you, what you got up next, and we have to do it really quickly because my showrunner is wrapping us up. I thought we had 2 hours for this conversation. Christine.
You can find me at Christine. I am Chris Beatty on Twitter and Christine.Beatty on Instagram. I am finishing my book.
Yay.
Coming out at the beginning of next year. I'm super excited.
Shanita Foster across the board, CHANITA Foster, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm heading to the United Nations to represent, working on Forbes 8. I head up Forbes 8 on the continent of Africa, and I'm revving up my consulting and coaching business, so I'm excited about that.
And Stacey J.
Absolutely. Stacey J. I'm Just Date Girl on both Instagram and Twitter. What am I doing? I have a television coming out. I created it. I can't tell you the network yet, but my book is Love on Wheels, love stories from all over the world told to an Uber driver on the way to their destination. I interviewed 2,500 people from 43 countries over 2 years.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that, as well as I coach women for $1. If you got $1, call me.
You coach for $1?
I coach for $1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told y'all I had boss friends coaching for $1 and everything. Well, ladies, this was amazing. Next week is going to be more amazing. We are talking the angry black woman. Is it fact or fiction? And y'all know I had to clear that topic with Christine before I came up with it.
Ooh,
She
child.
helped me come up with that.
It's going to be a good one.
I'm so excited. Up next, we have KEKE WYATT and acid attack survivor, domestic violence advocate, CHRISTY SIMS. Their stories are absolutely incredible. Don't go anywhere. This is She Speaks Live. I'm Nikki Gilbert-Daniels, Christine Beatty, Shanita Foster, Stacey J.
Men and children had their lives cut short because of domestic
This kind
violence.
of violence is prevalent in our society.
Unfortunately, many people have experienced or even watched their loved ones go through
Adolescent relationship abuse. No boundaries.
We're talking about domestic violence.
I just don't want it to be about no damn domestic violence. I'm a fucking singer!
My mother's boyfriend beat her so badly one time that I had to go see her at the hospital. That really did something to me. Not only did he ruin my mother's life, but he helped ruin mine.
Welcome back to She Speaks Live. I'm your host, Nikki Gilbert-Daniels, and that was a clip from our upcoming documentary film, Broken Things. Our topic tonight is When Love Hurts. And joining me in the VIP section are women I have a tremendous amount of respect for and I admire so much. Women who know more about the pain and the horror of domestic violence than they should. Tonight we're joined by acid attack survivor CHRISTY SIMS and my sister and R&B Divas co-star and domestic violence advocate, KEKE WYATT. Y'all give it up. Y'all give it up for her. Now I'm going to try to convince KEKE to bless us with a performance that's going to penetrate our soul. But please help me welcome these amazing ladies to She Speaks Live. It's good. So, CHRISTY, I am going to start with you. First of all, thank you so much. I met you at Dorinda Walker's Protected by Purpose, which was an amazing panel discussion. And I could not believe your story. It blew my mind. So can you share with our viewing audience what happened?
So I am a survivor of domestic violence and acid attack. 6 years ago, April 28th, 2013, I was in a relationship with a guy, and I told this guy, only thing I can think, people always ask, why did he do it, why did he do it? The only thing I can think of is I had told him weeks before that I did not want to get married. We hadn't argued or anything. He just happened to be at my house that particular weekend. Beautiful Sunday afternoon, in this great mood. We're getting along just fine. And I'm just in the kitchen or whatever. And he calls me to the bathroom in my house and he asked me to bring him a towel. As I'm coming down the hall, I see just this flood of water. And he's holding a bowl of, at that time I didn't know what it was. I found out later it was acid. And he just took the bowl before I could do anything. And see, remember, we hadn't been arguing or anything, so I didn't know this guy was trying to hurt me. I didn't know what was in the bowl. It could have been water. I didn't know what it was. And so people always assume that this was an abusive relationship prior to, but this literally was an ambush. He planned an acid attack, and the purpose was to destroy my face. So
there
he
was
threw
no
it.
problem before? Like there was
No argument.
at
We were getting
all.
along
It was-
fine the whole weekend. I had been with him the whole weekend. We were getting along fine. I had just in my mind decided that I didn't want to be with him anymore. But I hadn't told him specifically that it was completely over. I just didn't want to get married. And I didn't know that not getting married was going to be something that was going to change my life forever. So anyway, the purpose, I don't know if you know anything about acid attack, but it happens all over the world. I'm the only one in the state of Georgia. The purpose is to destroy the person's appearance. So I guess his thinking was, you know, I can't explain evil, but she doesn't want to be with me. Nobody's going to want her. So he threw the acid in my face. How the acid trickled to over 20% of my body, I don't know, but I'm burned on over 20% of my body. Was placed in a coma for 2 months, woke up completely blind. I was blind for 4 months, away from my kids for 6 months. Completely disfigured, looked like a monster for a very long time. And over the past 6 years, I've had surgery after surgery. And this right here, to be honest with you, I was supposed to have 100 surgeries. I only had about 13. This is a miracle that I can even sit here, because for an entire year, I had to live behind a veil with sunglasses because I couldn't even go out in public. So when I say that this guy tried to break me in every way imaginable, he tried, but he did not succeed.
I know that's right, baby, because you
succeed.
here sitting with KEKE Wyatt and what?
Yeah, and my crime wasn't even an argument, not wanting to get married. That was my crime.
So was there, like, were there any warning signs with him? Like, not anything that you did, but was there, like, did he have I'm not to be funny, but was there a twitch? Was there, like, did you notice that there were certain moments where he would get, so there were signs?
Thinking back, yeah, but you know what I tell people, because I'm an advocate, I go into school systems and this is what I teach, the warning signs.
Yes.
The controlling behavior, the jealousy. If I even looked at another guy, that was a problem. You know, he never put his hands on me, but it was always a conversation. Why are you looking at him, you know? That's the sign of a very insecure person, okay? And that's not love, all right? In the very beginning of relationships, that control that men do sometimes, and women too, women can be controlling too, but that excessive control feels in the very beginning, when you're really into the person, it feels like love sometimes because there's a lot of attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it wasn't.
He loved me. He got mad when such and such and such and such.
And he called me the week before this happened, he called me 25 times within a 2-hour period. Oh, wow. Because I wouldn't answer the phone. It's stuff like that. Yeah. That excessive calling, trying to force you to pick up the phone, trying to control your every move. He had something, I'm a shapely woman, so he had something to say about, you know, what I wore. Those are the warning signs. The fact that he wanted to marry me, to me, was too soon. He wanted to get married too soon.
How long
That's
were you
a warning
dating?
sign.
How long did you?
Off and on about 3 years we dated.
Okay.
It was not, because we were always, it was a toxic relationship, to be honest with you. And so it wasn't a relationship where we were always okay, you know, but it was toward the end, I just realized, you know, as I grew, I became a professional counselor, and I was able to look at myself, stand outside of my situation and say, you know what, this is just not going to work. This is not for me. Wow. Because I always felt like with him, if I wanted to be with somebody else, he would make me feel guilty about it. Those are warning signs. When they try to isolate you from your family, from your friends, that's not normal behavior.
Do you mind me asking, you have children?
I have 2 children. My daughter was 10 at the time. My son was 13 at the time.
Did your kids see anything in him? Did your kids ever feel like,
they didn't like him.
Right.
My kids couldn't stand him. That was one of the reasons why that's one of the reasons why I told him I did not want to get married. My son pulled me to the side the month before this happened, and he said, Mom, I don't care who you marry, just don't marry him.
Oh my God.
And I looked at my son then and I said, I promise you, I won't be marrying this man. And so that's when I told him, I said, I'm not going to be able to marry you. I'm sorry. You know.
Because you did not want to marry him.
And this is what I'm guessing. See, remember, I don't know why
You
he
don't
did
know.
it.
It could be
But this
anything.
is the only thing I can think of because
he could have thought you were cheating on him. It could
he
have
could
been
have he could have
anything.
thought that. I don't know what it
Right.
was.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what it was. But that's the only thing that I can remember saying. I just remember telling him, we're not going to get married. I don't want to get married.
I cannot even imagine that. I got way more questions.
I've lived so much of a life in my little small lifetime. I'll tell you this. I don't know if you and dude like together for real or not. I don't know if y'all plan on getting back together. If y'all ain't together, that ain't none of my business. But from woman to woman, keep yourself safe and your babies, and don't let no man touch you.
KEKE WYATT, my sister, my friend, my ride or die. First of all, I love you and I appreciate you so much. Because this is my friend in real life, y'all. Like all that, but that's a whole nother conversation. We're going to talk about the shade that we get from folks who ain't real friends versus folks who are. But
you ain't getting me in trouble now.
I'm not.
Listening.
I know he's listening. They're listening. And my husband in the control room.
Okay, see. What's up, Lenny?
But on a serious note, one of the things that I respect most about you is, number one, you're real. You are honest. You are transparent. You share your heart.
Like
you
literally.
give your heart. Like literally transparent. No. Powder. No.
You know.
Big mouth. But no, seriously, on a serious note, you went through a really dramatic and traumatic, life-changing experience, and you happen to be married to the person that you went through that with.
Yeah.
Can you take, for people who haven't heard the real story and not the radio gossip blog version, but KEKE's version of what happened in your situation?
Well, what makes it worse is that I had to do it in the public eye, and a lot of people didn't know that.
Right.
Like, all that fake smiling and that, girl, look.
Right.
It sucks.
Right.
I'm glad that I went through it. Why? Because I'm able to sit here today and help other people that may be going through it and they don't know how to get out of it. The horrible part about it is I stayed as long as I did for my kids. Your kids are resilient. They will bounce back like a bouncing basketball.
Right.
Don't stay in no crap just because of your kids. I've gone through 2 divorces over ignorance, and the first time I stayed because of kids, and the judge looked at me and said, either you stay and I take your beautiful, precious little beings, or you get out of there. And I already was like leaving anyway. And we were separated for 2 years, living under the same roof. And I know, just dumb. Just dumb.
I mean, like you said, you were doing it for not just yourself.
But when you're in that state of mind, for mothers out there that feel like they should do it for their kids, don't do it for the kids. You're just making things worse for your kids, and you don't even understand how bad.
Right.
Like, when your children are watching you being choked, that plays in their head. When your children are watching, you know, mommy and daddy go back and forth at it, boom, 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 that's traumatic for children.
Yeah.
And thank God that when that whole situation went down that everybody don't know about, because I had to be quiet for social media and purposes and management and all that. Don't talk about it. You know, I just hate that being quiet, everybody then thought I was crazy because they weren't getting the story. But I'm just glad, being my oldest now, he was a little bitty feller. So it wasn't so bad then, but I was stupid enough and stayed for 9 more years.
It's not stupid. It's love.
But
it's, I mean, you know, in hindsight, you see.
Well,
that
no,
it's
but
stupid,
see, that's the thing. I didn't really love him like that.
Oh, really?
Oh no, I didn't.
So was it like, was the relationship? Okay, so you said, Christy, that you didn't really have any warning signs, right?
I had warning.
You had warning signs, but not
You just
your,
didn't pay
your
attention
typical
to
warning
them.
signs.
Now that you can't always see your picture when you're inside your own frame.
Girl,
everybody else
listen.
sees your
I'm
picture.
done. Show's
really
over.
can't.
It's
You're
inside the frame. You
Yes,
can't see
it
your
is.
own
So
picture. Everybody
true.
around her saw it. Everybody around me, my friends didn't like him. My family didn't like him, but they never came to me and told me. Out of
he
respect.
kept me from all my family, all my friends.
Yeah, that's a warning sign.
That's
of
a warning.
abuse.
That's
Ladies,
the
that's a
worst
warning
warning sign ever.
Absolutely.
Isolation. In
Isolation.
fact, that's one of the first things they do is get you away so you don't feel even connected to anybody else, to even want to tell
Only
anybody
to
else.
them.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about the fact that you didn't love, the love sort of ended at a certain point. Was that because of the domestic violence, or was it just something else altogether where you were just like, you know what, I don't really want to be in this? Was it, how long was the domestic violence
If I told
happening?
you the whole story.
Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Where
Girl,
my
we ain't
wide
got
at?
all
Hold
year.
on. What? It's the short version.
I was in love with someone else.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't work out.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, come on, Mr. What do you call him? Little buddy on the side you pick up. What you call him?
The maintenance man or the
Girl, no ma'am. Oh, you going real? She done went all the way deep. No, it's Mama Shush. It's a rebound dude.
Oh, rebound, right? Okay.
Here's a rebound.
Okay.
Cause I was trying to make a point.
Yeah.
And made the wrong point.
Made the wrong point with the wrong.
Honey, had babies with the wrong point, got hurt with the wrong point, cheated on with the wrong point.
Right.
All of that.
How did that make you feel, being a woman who was in a situation where somebody was doing you wrong, but the media was, that's what she gets, she crazy, did it? And then people don't understand, you were trying to save your life.
Hello.
And the life of your children, because you
My
don't know.
baby was in the room screaming because he heard a whole bunch of ruckus. He's a baby. I just thank God he was a little baby when that happened. Because he doesn't really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he was so teeny weeny tiny.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't never forget it.
Do you feel like it impacts or affects the relationships that you have moving, after him? Do
Yeah,
you feel like,
absolutely.
How so?
Made me a roughneck.
Oh, it changes you now.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
The trust level is doo-doo.
You become a guarded woman.
You
when you've been
literally,
hurt to
like,
that level.
it's
You
like
become a guarded
walking
woman.
up and trying to kiss somebody, but you're kissing a wall in between you and the person.
Wow. I know.
Yeah, and it's a real thing. And it's scary to even try and trust somebody else.
I can't imagine. I remember this moment, and I hate to take you back to this moment, but it was such a powerful moment that's etched in my mind. You made reference during that show we did that I created, R&B Divas. I know, but look, it might sound a little awkward now because you're like, whatever, I'm past that. But the best analogy I'd ever heard was when you talked about
green beans.
Exactly, when you talked about the dinner
But
can
the
of green
sad
beans.
thing is, he never had the right tool to open up the dang on can. He never had the tool. And I thought that maybe he did. Mm-hmm. He never had the tool. Instead, he's off somewhere trying to open up somebody else's can.
Ooh.
That was sitting on the shelf with me.
Instead of
he opened up the throw up.
Okay.
But that's him.
Yes. And we have moved on.
And I'm so glad, because the reason why I even had the last 2 rebounds is because the Lord was setting me up to give me what I was supposed to have in the beginning, who I have now.
Come on, honey.
I swear to God.
Come on. Well, we're going to get into that. Oh, we're going to get into that. Before we get to a pot of here, we're going to get into that, because I'm so happy that you are happy.
I am.
It was a journey.
I mean, and we still in our early stages. Mm-hmm. It's hard when you know somebody for your whole life, but it's different when you live with them. And
is this the same guy you were in love with? No.
What? Ooh, talk about tea. We got some tea on She Speaks Live.
I love when that happens.
Isn't that amazing?
I love when that happens.
That's
I
God.
love when
What
that
is for
happens.
you
Ain't
is
that
for you.
crazy?
That's
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Now, Chrissy, I'm not letting you off that easy.
No.
And I don't want to go back. I know, look, I know we're talking about love and all that stuff.
I'm
We're gonna
enjoying
get to
this
that.
story right here.
That's the positive fluffy. But I couldn't help but think when you were explaining to me that this guy just like, you know, sneak attacked you, sucker punched you, whatever you want to call it.
That's so dusty.
That was so dusty, right?
Oh my God.
What immediately, like I know you were in you had to be in excruciating pain.
What
did
was
you
it
call
like?
Right.
Look, I'm
Yeah,
asking
did you
questions
ask.
What was
did you
that
do?
like?
I described it in my book as more painful than the pain of, because I lost a child, so I had a baby that passed away.
Oh, no.
I described it as the pain of all 3 of my children's birth times a million, and then somebody sticking needles all over it's excruciating. What people don't understand is what's different between being burned like by fire and acid. I continued to burn. The cells of your body continue to burn for like days and weeks after it happens. So even the way that I looked that first day, when they first questioned me that first day, I looked like an entirely different person the next week.
They questioned you after you got attacked with acid. You were able to answer questions?
This is why he walked around for 2 years, because they said that I said it was an accident. And so he was free for 2 years. You know, they opened up the case, but it's a crazy story. So I'll go back to that day. He threw the acid in my face. Within a minute, I was blind. Couldn't see, couldn't even, see. I'm screaming at him to call 911. He actually called 911. And everybody is always puzzled by, he called 911. Everybody's always puzzled by, why was he the one to call 911? He had to call 911. See, remember, you don't throw acid in somebody's face to kill them. You throw acid in their face to maim them. So he knew that I was going to live. And so in order for me to get beyond this, he kept saying over and over again, baby, it was an accident. Baby, it was an accident. Baby, it was an accident. You see what I'm saying?
It was an accident that you just happened to have acid in a
acid
bowl.
in a
What
bowl.
is that?
Acid.
You idiot.
It's
No.
drain cleaner, industrial grade drain cleaner, what plumbers use for big buildings.
Don't tell these fools
What they
to
need,
use.
right.
But that's what it
That's what
is.
it was that he used.
He got it at Lowe's for $9.
Wow.
$9.
Turned my life upside down for
How much was
$9.
your hospital bill?
$1.2 million. Over $1.2 million.
Over $9 product.
Right. Yeah, that's too, like, I can't even, and the fact that he had the audacity to do that and then to call the police.
It was, he set up the whole thing, but you know what they found out? It came out in trial. The call lasted, my 911 tape is on, it's on YouTube. It's been watched like 1 million times.
Oh my God.
Millions of times, honestly. But anyway, the whole 911 tape, but that's how he got convicted. Because on the 911 tape, he's changing his story. He changed his story 6 times within 13 minutes on the 911 tape. And they found out that even though the tape was 13 minutes long, he was only on the call for 2 minutes. So when EMT came, he had rearranged the scene. He planned all of this, rearranged the scene. And I'm sitting there burning in excruciating pain. I don't even know where he's thrown him. And I'm like, what's going on? What are they saying? He said, baby, they say, just sit here. Just sit here. If I put water on you, it's going to ignite the chemical. And I'm like, what chemical? What is this? And they're telling him on the whole time on the phone, please rinse her off. Please rinse her off. He never rinsed me off.
Oh my God.
You see what I'm saying?
So had he rinsed you off, it
I would not have been
so,
disfigured.
Oh my
I would
God.
not have been disfigured.
But he said that if he uses water.
He told them, babe, if I rinse you off, it's going to ignite the chemical. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
But
they telling him on the
said,
phone,
put some
rinse
water
her
on,
off
rinse
with
her
soap
off.
and water. No water ever touched me. In fact,
Good, so that's what got him convicted.
That's what got him convicted. So even on the 911 tape, you can hear EMT coming in and asking him, sir, why didn't you rinse her off? I know they told you to rinse her off. And I'm telling him, I said, I told him to rinse me off. And he said, whatever. And so he said something like the phone rang, whatever. All of this played out on the 911 tape. Even when EMT came, all of it. It's a 13-minute 911 tape that got him convicted.
Go ahead. No, ask.
your
Kiki.
show,
You go
I'm
ask.
sorry.
No, go ask. Go ask.
Girl, I'm sorry.
No, ask.
How come you
It's a
didn't
movie, I'm
try
telling
to
you.
find something?
She was
I
blind.
couldn't
She
see.
couldn't
I was
see.
blind.
But honey,
And
I would have been like,
no, and I was in shock. Think
hate
about
you.
it. I was in shock.
Right.
That too.
The
Yeah.
first,
Okay.
Like, you're like, what is going on?
the first thing that happened, remember, this happened I'm standing outside the bathroom. He's standing inside the bathroom, whole puddle of water. within seconds, he throws it in my face. My first instinct was to go to the sink. So that's the first thing I did was go to the sink, right?
So then you did.
Yeah, but the thing about it is when I rinsed it, when I found out is when you rinse acid, it burns more. And I didn't know what I was burning. I said, what is this? What did you do?
So you didn't know if it was water. You didn't know what you were putting on your face. Right.
Exactly. So I'm rinsing, but
that's
the only
to help. It does help, but it just feels horrible.
Well, put it this way, I'm not blind because that's the first thing I did was rinse my eyes.
Oh,
I would be
wow.
blind.
Okay.
I should be blind.
Okay.
But the first thing I did was throw water in my eyes.
Yes.
And so because it started burning more, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I felt my way down the hall. I said, please call 911. I don't even remember everything that happened, but my last memory though was him standing behind me in that mirror, just looking at me.
Oh my God.
Not helping me or anything, just looking at me.
Oh my
and everything else after that I couldn't see anymore. And I couldn't see for 4 months after that.
I'm speechless because I can't even imagine what, like, if I get soap in my eye, I'm losing my mind.
Hello?
I cannot even imagine
I got
what you went
crumbs
through.
from a pumice stone in my eye the other day, and I thought I was dying.
Right.
I'm serious. So I cannot imagine.
Well, just imagine your whole body burning like that. The acid was so, put it this way, if you put something metal, this metal thing in acid, it will melt.
Dissolve
it's
it.
designed to melt
Yes,
metal.
it will
So he
dissolve it.
put
So
something on my
skin.
body designed to melt metal, and he did not destroy me. And that's the way I look at it.
Nothing compared to no metal.
Nothing compared to metal. Had you ever, Keke, been outside of that one incident where he was choking you to that point? Had you ever been beat, bruised? Did you ever cover up any bruises or have
By
to?
him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
He pushed me down steps, all kinds of stuff. Kicked me, girl.
And you got to go sing and you got to go perform
All
and you
of
got to go
that.
live your life with knowing that this man has done.
Yes.
And you know what people ask the question, like people, in my case, they always assume because they don't know the whole, unless you read my whole story. Well, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just leave? What people don't understand is that 75% of all cases of domestic violence happen when a woman is leaving the relationship. That's when she's most in danger.
Really?
But a lot of people stay for a whole lot of reasons. Number one, it's normally the kids. They stay for the kids. Sometimes they stay for finances. That probably wasn't her case, but a lot of women stay because of finances. A lot of them stay. 99% of them stay because of finances.
Yes,
believe it or
and
not.
I have friends that
because of finances.
What do you say to? I mean, like while we're on the subject of that, another thing that I've noticed is there are a lot of young women who feel like we said earlier. He beat me up because he cares about me. He gets mad when somebody looks at me because he cares about me. What can you say outside of y'all sharing your stories and how traumatic those are to women who believe that? Like young girls in particular who think that is
So
love.
I want to compare, I want you just to give people a context. Think about Stockholm Syndrome. You ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome where somebody gets kidnapped and they become loyal to the person that's kidnapped them and abused them? Well, just imagine being abused by somebody that you love. Abusers don't come up to you and knock you upside the head. You either fall for them or you get attached to them. Because even though she wasn't in love with him, she had an attachment to him. Okay, it was familiar to her. And the cycle of abuse involves the abuse, the honeymoon stage. You know what I'm talking about? So sometimes these men that are abusing you, they're very, very sweet, very
patient,
sweet.
I guess, huh?
I'm talking about very, very sweet, like total opposites.
Yeah.
This particular guy right here was not hitting me, but when I think back, he was emotionally and verbally abusive.
And see, I didn't go through physical in my second marriage. It was that.
Yeah, well, people don't understand
the emotional.
But it breaks you down. It breaks you down if it's. The only thing I can say, me and this guy didn't even live together. He never got a chance to touch my core. He never, that's why I'm so strong. That's why I'm able to fight for other people, fight for women, and that's why I was able to get up out of a coma and start fighting. Come on. Because he never broke the inside of me. But let me tell you something. The best thing the best thing that she could have done was leave because she had children. And I felt like this is the thing I am the most proud of. My children never got a chance to even live under the same roof with this man. He had no influence on their well-being. And so I said, if nothing else, I'll rock these scars, baby, because my kids are safe mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They're safe.
Come on.
You know?
Come on, man.
Because if I had married him, he would have abused me even more.
Right.
And he probably would have abused my
children. Use your children, exactly.
Because they weren't his children.
Yeah, they weren't his kids. And he obviously, for somebody, that is just so vicious and calculated and sick. Young man, whoever you are, out there in this world, considering hurting a woman, beating up on a woman, throwing acid in a woman's face, understand that karma and God two forces that you don't want to mess with.
Hold
and
up,
ladies,
think about your mama, somebody doing it to your
mama. Isn't that, think about, exactly. Exactly.
Because, you know, boys love their mamas.
Yeah, so imagine it being your mom or your sister. Just any woman in your life that you love. That's crazy. So on to a lighter side of it, before we wrap this wonderful conversation up, you did something really amazing with Marcys Law. Can you tell people who don't know what Marcys Law is all about and how you've been working on that?
So Marcy Nicholas was a young woman who was murdered in California years ago. Kelsey Grammer and I were the state ambassadors for Marcys Law last year. We got the law passed. But there was an entire team that worked on this, you know, to get it passed. You know, it has to go past the House, Congress, everything or whatever. And so, but I was the face of it. I was the one that was on all the commercials last year and stuff. Marcys Law basically says that crime victims, and not just domestic violence, but all crime victims now have equal rights as criminals.
Right.
You would think common sense we always did, but we didn't. Criminals have the right to remain silent. They have the right to an attorney. They're called for every hearing. I was never called for a single hearing in the entire time.
In your case?
In my own case. In my own case.
Girl,
this man,
Right.
it took 2 years for him to be sentenced. It took an entire year for him to be charged, and he was booked in, booked out in 2 hours. Nobody ever called me to tell me, and I'm laying up in a hospital bed having surgery. So he could have come back, circled around,
And killed
me.
And killed you.
And
That's what I'm sitting here thinking.
so when I tell people think you just assume that this was already a law, and it wasn't. And now, you know, because of me just speaking out and because of this entire team, the Marcys Law team, now whenever anything is going on with your case and you are a victim, you have to be notified throughout the entire thing.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
When he gets out of he's up for parole. He has a possibility of parole. Before Marcys Law, legally they didn't have to tell the victim that the person was out. They can get paroled and nobody ever calls you, right? As a courtesy they would sometimes, but it wasn't constitutional. Now it is a part of the Georgia Constitution and several other states that when he gets out, they have to call me first before calling anybody else.
Bravo.
It's going to save lives.
It's going to save, I mean, just your story alone. And you think about it, just, you know, as tragic as it is, and we were talking about this earlier with what you're experiencing with Raja, you know, God puts us through these things, and you can either use it as an opportunity to teach other people and heal other people and educate other people. Think about the amount of lives that, you know, y'all are able to save having gone through things as high-profile celebrities, and you're also a very high-profile acid attack. I was seeing it everywhere, and how you can save people's lives. So I applaud both of you ladies for being warriors. Absolutely, for being warriors. And KEKE, you got something to share. I said I want a little surprise for my friend, y'all. And my friend's sitting over here with a swollen belly.
You know,
and I just want to know.
swollen.
I mean, I'm not going to reveal your business. So is there something you would like to share with
There's a whole human man in there.
There's a whole human man in there?
It is.
And who is the lucky gentleman? Who is the father of that child?
Well, that's the feller that I was telling y'all about.
See?
Why am I so into this story?
And he's right there.
Come on, brother. Come on.
Oh, he ain't all that. No, just like.
You know,
baby. If he's
Look, we all got issues, but he loves my children, and they love him, and we're working through kinks because, like I said, you can know somebody for your whole life, but it's just different when you're in the home with them and you're just learning them and they're learning you. And I got a lot of walls and steps and stones and bricks and mortar.
But you're worth every bit of it.
And he's busting
and he
through.
recognizes that. And
He's busting through.
That's more important.
But I would have never had to go through none of it, baby. You had to come on.
In the first place, why didn't you just not be the rebound and be the Mr. Right Now Forever? But you are Mr. Right Now Forever.
Well, he said that the Lord told him it wasn't time.
Okay.
And so I can't fight him over that, and I get it.
Yeah.
So, cause I was a little girl.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you love the fact is you got somebody who loves you. Are you in a new relationship, Christy? Not right now. No. What do you have? Do you have anything coming up that you want to plug? I heard you have a new book coming this month, actually, right?
Next month.
And
October. We'll be in October when we. So this month.
I'm getting it.
So I travel. I speak professionally now. That's what I do, and I run a nonprofit, the CHRISTY SIMS Foundation. So.
Okay.
I do the work year round, but in October is when I travel the country and I speak at, I'm a college speaker primarily because that population, believe it or not, is very high in dating violence.
Absolutely.
So that and my book Flutter, people wonder what that name is about or whatever. But my story, because I've had an entire transformation, my story is compared sometimes to a caterpillar going to the butterfly, you know, because I was messed up, I mean, for some years. And so Flutter, if you would think about the butterfly, what makes the butterfly so beautiful is when that butterfly starts to fly. Yeah. So Flutter is what I'm doing right now. I've gotten through all of this foolishness, all of this mess or whatever. And so this book is about telling people how to thrive and grow through change.
And y'all make sure you get her book, Flutter. KeKe, you are on the road, singing everywhere, performing everywhere with the baby.
Yes, and I have a new YouTube channel with a whole show on there.
You need that, though.
What's the title of the show? Plug. Oh, you don't want to tell on my...
It's the KeKe Show.
It's
Hello?
the KeKe Wyatt Show?
It's just the KeKe Show.
What are y'all doing? Just
us, how we are. And
family.
And how we're adapting to having a new daddy in the house and, you know, stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff. But it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. And YouTube is where
and
it's
trying
at.
to go to the store with 8,000 children. And
oh, I love it.
That's
good. I love it. I love it.
So, you know, just, and my poor husband, trying, you know.
Your lucky husband.
Well, that too.
Your lucky husband. You're blessed and fortunate. Both of you are blessed and fortunate.
Yes.
Both of you ladies have, it's just been such an honor to have this conversation. We could go on and on and on. Yes. Thank you, my sister. I love you so much. Thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you.
Ladies, if you are in a situation where you feel that your man either could potentially become dangerous or if he is dangerous, don't just stay for the children. I know it's easier said than done. But what is that, KeKe?
Get the hell out of there.
That's right. That's all.
Yes.
All right. I love y'all. I appreciate you both so
Thank
much for sharing your story. I'm Nikki Gilbert. This is She Speaks Live. Give it up for KeKe Wyatt and Christy Sims.
Really.
I'm just saying.